Hey guys, it's Mallow here once again, and I wanted to give you a wrap-up and conclusions video of the Static Strike Pathfinder, which was full physical to elemental conversion, and the too long didn't watch version is Static Strike did end up being pretty respectable, especially in situations like Delve, with closed corridors, lots of monsters. It actually felt pretty damn good, even probably better than the Magma Orb character for delving itself. It was very safe and reliable with the amount of defense the Pathfinder offered, as well as the vast amount of life gain on hit coming from the claws, and just the reliable shattering and killing of the monsters in the delve. Unfortunately, it is a bit of a clumsy skill with the way it works, having to just like default stab stuff. So as I mentioned in the previous video, you really do need a very good amount of damage, and then on top of that, Ancestral Call, to be able to use that damage, to be able to cleanly actually get your stacks, your 3 stacks of Static Strike up, and then run around doing your damage. And without the Ancestral Call, it feels just awful to play. With the Ancestral Call, it does mean that you need quite a lot of damage to get to that level of smoothness, but unfortunately, it still feels a little bit clumsy with just the default attacks. The fact that you are so brutally melee is definitely a downside in a skill like this and a few others out there, but there really aren't too many out there like this anymore, and it is just a bit awkward and clumsy to play. Like I said though, in the delves, it felt like a really strong skill. Overall, I'm not sure I could really recommend it. You could build this exact Pathfinder in this type of physical to elemental conversion setup with the flasks, and just use something like Molten Strike, Frostblade's Spectral Throw, and probably have infinitely more success. So it is a bit of a shame in that regard. The build is largely carried just off of the strength of Pathfinder, as well as claws and the life gain on hit, and there is some interesting synergy with the life gain on hit and the Static Strike charges, so it did make the character very tanky throughout these later phases, and I would very rarely die. But as you'll see in a few minutes when I got to Uber Elder, playing Static Strike is just awkward because of the melee hit component, the default attacking component, but it was respectable enough, and it did get Uber Elder down twice, one of which was a little cleaner than the other, but still pretty damn sketchy. Now the single target damage is respectable in its own right. Off of the 5-link Lore Weave, I quite oftentimes swapped into 2 different claws instead of Touch of Anguish. So Touch of Anguish I had in my weapon swap 1, which would have 2 additional chains whenever I had max frenzies, and that's what I used for clearing. But for the really heavy bosses, so we are talking tier 16, Elder, and Uber Elder, I would actually swap into 2 different claws that I crafted that had a bunch of physical damage, a little bit of attack speed, and some extra lightning or cold or physical converted into lightning or cold. You can see though, in the situations where you get to use War Chiefs and Double Strike, those can absolutely carry you hard. You can see the tier 16 Elder Guardians that the damage is respectable enough, you can do it by itself, but on these Guardians, when you get your Val skills up, well, they can turn any skill into some pretty good single target. So lastly, there's just this clip of the tier 16 Elder Guardian, and then we move into Uber Elder. It's a pretty clenchy kill, probably one of my most exciting and one of my most tense ones up to date, and it's quite a lot of fun to do, but yeah, the melee nature of a skill like this just feels crap for single target of this scale. If I simply put in Molten Strike, I would have had way more success and had a way cleaner kill. Anyway guys, this was Static Strike. Would I really recommend it? Not too sure. If you got nothing better to do, go ahead and try it. But here's the Uber Elder kill. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. I mean, on the bright side, the Ruthless having much more damage potential, has a higher potential crit multi, lightning, shock, crit. So it means I could potentially have a higher chance of shocking them. Jesus Christ, Elder. Show some chill. Okay, this is fucking awkward, man. Oh no. Oh, that's okay. See how fucking melee I am? Like, I'm right next to the monster I want to hit, but I have to keep circling around and dodging infinity amounts of bullshit. And thank God for Pathfinder. Oh, I cannot say it enough. I remember saying it last run too. But I was just like feeling the pressure. Looked down at my flasks. I knew they were empty. They were just starting to regen. Nice and comfortably. I was almost certain I'd be getting hit there, but I wasn't, and I just thought I'd keep standing there. Where did this other propagator come from, man? Did somebody order more flasks? Ah! Really? Hmm! Ah! Oh! My anus at maximum clench. I got nowhere to stand to fucking hit him, man. God fucking damn it! That was almost fucking deathless, but it just got too much in the end. There was so much to take care of. An Elder was dying before Shaper. I think my boys went for Elder instead of Shaper when I spawned them. And that's why that ended up happening. So I saw Elder's health and it kind of threw me off. Like, quite a lot. You know, now that I actually look back on the fight, I don't remember dying. I think if you guys search deep inside, you also won't remember me dying. I'm pretty sure that was deathless.